Ever wonder why some people seem to have this almost, I don't know, spiritual connection with cats? Well, today we're diving into the deep neurological reason behind that bond. And trust me, it might tell you a lot more about yourself than you think.
It's a very specific moment, isn't it? If you've ever had a cat, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've had a day full of noise and demands and just chaos. And then they just decide to offer you their presence. And in that one instant, all the noise in the world just fades away.
You can literally feel the tension just melting out of your shoulders. That shallow, quick breath you've been taking all day, it suddenly deepens. You know, that constant inner monologue, the to-do lists, the worries, replaying that awkward conversation, it all just kind of goes quiet.
For maybe the first time all day, there's a real sense of peace. If you know that feeling deep in your bones, then what we're about to talk about is going to make so much sense.
So here's the thing. That preference for cats, it's not just some quirky little personality trait. Nope. It is deeply, deeply rooted in how your nervous system is actually wired to process the world around you.
Okay, so it all comes down to how our nervous systems calm themselves down, how they regulate. Some of us, we regulate through action. We need that energy, that feedback, that excitement. You know, that's kind of the world of dogs, right? But other people, they regulate through stillness. Their system doesn't need more stimulation, it needs less. And that is the world of cats.
This reframes everything, doesn't it? When someone says that, it's not about them being distant or unemotional. It's about their nervous system being genuinely physically overwhelmed by too much stimulation. It's a biological need for less, not a personal rejection of connection.
And that preference for low stimulation, well, it leads to a very specific kind of relationship. One that cat people find not just calming, but actually deeply safe.
I mean, just think about our day-to-day human interactions. They are loaded with unspoken rules, right? You're expected to reply to that text right away, to match someone's energy, to constantly give reassurance. And for a sensitive or an easily overstimulated mind, that can be absolutely exhausting. But cats, yeah, they just completely opt out of all that social pressure. Their affection isn't something you have to force or perform for. They offer it when they feel it. No performance necessary on your part.
So let's get this straight. It is not an aversion to intimacy. Not at all. It's an aversion to the high-stakes, high-pressure performance that so often comes along with it. Cat people crave a connection that just happens, and a cat models that perfectly.
Okay, let's geek out a little bit and get into the hard science behind this feeling of safety. Because there are actual, tangible, biological things happening that explain why a cat's presence can feel so grounding. A cat's purr is, well, it's basically a hidden superpower. It operates at this really low rhythmic frequency that your body just instinctively picks up on. So before you're even consciously aware of it, your nervous system gets the message, hey, you're safe. You can power down now. It's like auditory magic for a stressed out brain.
And there's more. Our brains are literally hardwired with something called the baby schema. When we see big eyes and soft features and a little face, our caretaking instincts just light up. So when your cat looks at you, your brain doesn't just see a pet, it sees something that needs to be protected, and that activates this gentle, nurturing response that calms you down even more.
So what about that old stereotype? You know the one, linking smart, creative people with cats. Well, there's definitely something there, but the reason for it might not be what you think.
It's actually true. Several studies have found that people who identify as cat people do tend to score higher in things like openness and cognitive ability. But the reason for this connection, well, it isn't so obvious.
And here comes the twist. The relationship isn't causal. Having a cat snoozing on your keyboard while you work isn't magically boosting your IQ. The real connection is a lot more subtle and, honestly, way more interesting.
Think about it. Deep thinking, creativity, focus, all of that requires a very specific environment. Quiet and uninterrupted attention. Cats don't demand your energy. They don't constantly pull your focus. They just exist beside you, acting like these silent little guardians of the very space your mind needs to do its absolute best work.
So when you put all these pieces together, the neurology, the social stuff, the science, you get to this really powerful conclusion. This whole time, it was never just about cats. It was about you.
This is such an important thing to hear. your attraction to cats is a reflection of your own internal wiring. It's a sign that you value a quieter, more subtle kind of connection, one that's free from all the noise and pressure of the outside world.
And that's a lesson for our entire culture, which often thinks loud, intense displays are the same as genuine intimacy. Cats offer a different way, a quiet, steady, unconditional companionship that just burns consistently, not explosively.
Just let that sink in for a minute. A cat's affection is earned. Their loyalty is chosen over and over again, every single day. And there is something so incredibly profound about loving a creature that stays with you simply because it wants to be there. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In our loud, demanding, constantly on world, finding your source of calm isn't just a nice little luxury, it's a necessity. And maybe, just maybe, you've already found yours, and it's quietly purring right next to you.